Well, hello, great beings of light. This is Julie from Soulbridge Holistics, and we are ready to begin again with another lesson. This is going to be on the fifth dimension and the multiverse. What is it? And let's talk a little bit about what exactly that is. The fifth dimension lays in the multiverse map. The multiverse happens in all directions and locations. So quantum physics best describes it as a sort of bilocation, blinking on and off. There's also a sixth dimension where we slowly lose our bodies and begin to merge back into source as light beings. And these light beings are highly advanced, and they're aware of us in the fifth dimension and the third dimension. So as we go up, there are beings above us and they look back. So if you think in terms of dimensions from the first dimension, which would be a basic animal, mineral, vegetable, molecular structure. So one would be stones or water or air or something like that. And then two would be a simple being like a plant or a molecule or a bacteria or something small. And then a third dimensional being would be something that has more autonomy. It can walk back and forth, it can feed itself, it can walk around. So we're in the third dimension now. The fourth dimension is the astral realm where ghosts and lower vibrational beings exist of a darker nature. We'll skip over talking about the fourth dimension, but suffice to say we're at the end of the third dimension and heading into the fifth dimension right now. So where is heaven? It may be in the fifth dimension, because people who have been there describe being able to physically bilocate, to think themselves from place to place, to think of someone or anyone, even a great historical figure, and call them over for a meeting immediately. And where do I get my sources from? From near-death experiencers who were dead on operating tables, some for 20 minutes, even 40 minutes, and then came back to life. The possibility of this happening was also reported by a woman who was strangled by a serial killer, and after half an hour she took a breath and sat up, frightening the killer, who had been sitting next to her corpse and eating, staring at her body. In fact, he was so freaked out, he allowed her to live and leave his apartment, stating that anybody who lives through that just can't be killed and probably deserves to live. She actually was one of the people who testified later on to help him to be put in prison. Can't remember who it was, but you guys can put that in the comments below, because you probably know which serial killer I'm talking about. This was actually made into a movie scene, so pretty creepy. Okay, so the idea of people coming back to life was the very reason they used to put bells in coffins. Remember the expression, he's a dead ringer? That's actually where it came from. The dead could ring a bell if they woke back up, which they sometimes did. So there's a bell on a string, and they could pull the string and it would ring, and people would know. There was also thumping on boxes at one point. So they would dig the person back out, and they would get them back out because they woke back up again. So why do they come back? And what do they see when they're on the other side? They see that life is energy, that thoughts are things, that time on the other side goes out of sync with Earth time. And 5 years there can be 10 minutes here. They may also stay there a while the Earth body is laying in a coma for years, only to wake up 20 years later and wonder why the whole family has aged. Okay, so people have died, gotten their Earth review, met a bunch of, been taken on tours, and then been told, okay, you have to go back. And what may seem like hours went by, or even days, they get back here and find out they're still being resuscitated by the EMS, and they're still laying in the street where the car hit them. And EMS says they were trying desperately to get their heart started again. So that. Okay, so the idea of standing still, time standing still, or moving faster is also coupled with the idea that time can run out of sequence. That not only do you have past lives, which may appear to be in sequence on this plane, but over there they all run simultaneously, Which body you appear in depends on the viewer. So you would see your aunt, but Genghis Khan might see his uncle, if that's who you were in a past life. We're wearing multiple masks and playing multiple parts on the stage, and yet we never die. It's amazing. So the reverence for death on this plane is because we believe that we die, and the idea that when we leave here there's nothing left. So people who have died and come back said, now that I've seen the other side, I don't fear death anymore, because now they understand what happens when they cross over. It's not a mystery if you've done it. And if that doesn't give you a headache already, trying to wrap your head around the multiverse, also keep in mind that we're not the only planet that has life forms. Although at a picnic you may sit with your own family and people you recognize, on that side your family may be different races, different cultures, different timelines, and don't even think about if you were in a different alien race in a past life, because you may choose go back to your Pleiadian family or your Arcturian family when you cross over, since light workers came to Earth to be volunteers. And you may consider your mission to raise the vibration of this planet to be completed. So then what exactly is the fifth dimension? How is it different from third? Well, in the understanding of space-time, 3 dimensions of height, width, and length. 4 dimensions includes the 3 spatial ones, plus 1 temporal one. So energy is transparent and can pass through one another. And you may be able to walk through the 3rd dimension. There are various other interpretations on top of these, to include the string theory and also the M theory. I won't go into those. They propose that the existence of additional spatial dimensions may exist that enable the forces of gravity and electromagnetism to operate differently, with different gravity being heavier or lighter, maybe different atmospheres, gas, ether, water, helium, etc., and different beings with different lifespans that inhabit those spaces. That should make your head roll. Add 5th dimension to that, which may allow for the existence of the temporal multiverse, where each second of rotation, or every divergent thought or choice on the timeline that you've made, every divergent thought or every diversion, I married Paul instead of Bob, that's a diverging top line. I had 2 job interviews and I chose A, but B also wanted me. Those are diverging timelines. Every divergent thought or choice on the timeline could correspond to a separate dimension, contributing to an even more complex structure of possible universes. If you think about energy waves, as they exist now with the Earth's Schumann resonance, the radio waves, infrared, ultraviolet, radiation of different types, color and sound waves, TV, cell phone data crossing in front of our eyes, and all of it imperceptible to us in our 3rd dimensional senses. It may not be in 5th dimension or in another dimension. In heaven, for example, where everyone speaks telepathically, there are no hidden thoughts, no secrets, no separation. Those who experienced alien abductions report that reptilians could hear their thoughts, and that those beings all spoke with telepathy, plus they could alter matter to walk right through it, or lift people out of walls or out of ceilings. In the movie Ghost, Patrick Swayze experiences the ability to stick his head into a train to see who's inside, or walk through walls and see the molecules in the wooden framework. Those advanced beings that we know as angels, who have never taken full human lives, but are among the creator beings and the highest and most advanced, have the ability to change size. They can appear enormous. They have the ability to use unlimited strength, or to go forward and back in time, stopping a car, lifting it off a person, putting them on the sidewalk, right? Removing the confused occupant right before the 2 cars collide. And the person says, I have no idea how I got on the sidewalk. All I remember was the car was going to hit me, and now here I am. There are reports also of people saying, I was trapped under the car and this enormous person lifted the car off of me and then and then there was nobody there, that kind of stuff, angelic intervention. Consider that to be the kind of stuff you'd see in fifth dimension. Such are the reports of people who've seen and interacted with angels, and it's a warning and a joy to inform you that the world is just not your race, your gender, your culture, your neighborhood, or your city. The world extends beyond your state, beyond your country, beyond your continent, and even beyond your planet. There's nothing random about energy. It follows patterns of expansion. It moves with regularity. Just as the sun rotates, the earth moves with it. The moon flows with the earth. The other planets rotate and pass one another going around the sun. Just so that your birth date happens upon a unique placement of all those heavenly bodies, squared, trined, and otherwise lined up and affiliated with the unique you, whose energy signature can be picked out anywhere. You're that one of a kind. If you're not feeling so special today, if you find yourself down in your mood one day, Google near-death experience or videos on YouTube and watch them. Watch what those folks have to say about life on the other side and why they got sent back. They reported the ability to float. They could see the earth all at once, all the buildings, all the people on it. They could fly past planets. They could see the many galaxies in our universe. Never mind that there may be more than one universe. When you truly appreciate the miracle of each moment and what it took to put you here, ask yourself what's next for you in your Earth timeline and where you want this story to go. Ask yourself, why are you in the city with these people? Why is it that you are here watching this video now? What do you want? Remember that you're a co-creator with God and that every person who crossed over met that beautiful being, Jesus. And indeed, he says he's the gatekeeper, and none come to heaven except through him. And yes, he takes your hand like you're a child, and he'll say he loves you dearly, no matter what your culture is. Omnipotent beings have an obligation to learn compassion, to see truth, to practice loving kindness, and that's what we're doing here. If you have any desire to hide from that truth, then ask yourself if you can stand in light and have your thoughts scanned and have your heart examined and weighed. If you can, then you're a light worker. If you can't, then learning about the other side may scare you. And learning about other dimensions in the multiverse may leave you humbled, in awe, and ready to start over. This is why beginner's mind is so important and always leaves room to grow. A full cup can't be filled, so there's always room for growth. You may be surprised every day if you're living every day in awe and wonder. And you're probably doing it right because there's so much to learn. I hope you enjoyed this lesson with me. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you and namaste, my light-filled Soul Bridge tribe. Like, subscribe, share, click on that link below and buy me a coffee. Put a comment below about what part of this video touched you. And I'll see you again in the next video.